This is a 2024 Acura TLX Type S, the brand's larger of two cars they still sell that was updated for this model year. The Type S TLX is now the top of just 3 trims above the technology package and A-spec TLXs. The original standard TLX and the top non-Type S Advanced are both gone. No matter. For us enthusiast folk, the Type S is the one to get with its stiffer structure, superior power, and sportier chassis tuning. And this update for the 2024 model year mainly plays with the styling and updates the tech a little bit, leaving the chassis and the powertrain alone. That is, except for a couple of little things. And I have to be honest, I am a touch concerned. Did Acura change the driving enjoyment of this updated TLX Type S? Let's find out. I review all kinds of cars, and I have fun every time. Please subscribe and join me. The base price for the 2024 Acura TLX with the technology package is $46,195. Going top tier with a Type S raises that price more than $10K to $58,195. And my test car did include an optional paint color and cost $58,795. Okay, now is a good time for me to pull over and show you around and inside this car in a bit more detail and show you those 2024 updates. Looking at the front of the car, this in fact is where a lot of the differences are. First of all, we now have this frameless diamond pentagon grille right here, and the TLX Type S specifically has its own front grille to allow more airflow into the engine bay, more cooling. Also, another difference, this logo right here, still big, but no longer has a shield around it here. Also, we have a front camera right here. And there you have it, a turbocharged 3-liter V6, 355 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. The axle center line is right about here, right around the front of the shock tower right here, which means much of this heavy V6 is ahead of the axle center line. The Type S TLX has a worse weight distribution compared to the standard one. 59% of the weight is on the front end, but it is tuned very, very well. Don't let me get too far ahead of myself. Looking at the car in profile, this is a good chance to look at a new color for 2024. It is called Urban Gray Pearl. It is available on the A-spec and Type S TLXs, and it is a $600 optional paint. It is one of many $600 optional paints. There's only one standard color, that's silver, but in profile, the TLX largely stays the same. I will go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen right now so you can check that out and let you know that I have a lot more information in the description. This is a 20-inch wheel for the TLX Type S. That size hasn't changed, but the design has, and it is also now in a Berlina black color, a nice gloss black, and you get black lug nuts as well. The tech package and the A-spec TLXs roll on 19-inch wheels, perfectly fine. But this is one thing that did give me pause for a quick, brief moment anyway. The only factory tire for the TLX Type S is a high-performance all-season tire. That rubbed me the wrong way. Why wouldn't you have a summer tire offered on the TLX? But Acura still does. It's just now that it is a dealer-installed option, not from the factory. Really, ultimately, a very subtle difference and something I can live with. And yes, this is a square setup. You get the same width and size in back as you do in front. Looking at the TLX Type S from the back, this is basically carryover from the 2021 model year. And just like I said before, I don't think it's a bad thing. You get 14 cubic feet of trunk space. If you do need more than 14 cubic feet of space and don't have to carry any passengers in the rear seats fold right down. It looks like this. According to the government, this is a compact car, so we don't have tons of space in the second row. I am 5 feet 11 inches or 181 centimeters tall, and I have, I don't know, a couple inches of knee room and I have just barely enough headroom, and the seat bottoms are a little bit on the low side, so thigh support's okay but not great. And put that all together and that means I have right around a 90-degree bend in my knees. That said, I do have a couple of modern conveniences like 2 USB Type-C ports right there. And yeah, I do have an armrest with cup holders and a little storage bit right here. So yeah, life is just fine back here. One other small update for 2024, at least if I read the specs correctly, these Milano leather seats are now standard across the board on all TLXs. This black and red two-tone interior is a standard option, but you also can go straight black. You do have the typical controls on the door right here, as well as 2-position seat memory right there, and a trunk release right below that. And you have 16-way adjustable seats right here, and that is for both the driver and passenger front seats. The front seats are very comfortable and supportive. Look at these deep, deep bolsters up here. Really love that. And pretty healthy lower bolsters as well. So you really do fit snugly in this seat, and I really appreciate that. The steering itself is a nice thick rim, and it does have a flat bottom right here with the logo, Type S logo right there. And you do have several controls, cruise control and that kind of thing on the right, media controls on the left, upshift and downshift paddles right there for your 10-speed automatic transmission. Push button starters right here. And now you can see the fully digital 12.3-inch instrument cluster right there. And because this is a Type S, a 10.5-inch head-up display right there. Also new for 2024 is this larger 12.3-inch center console display that replaces a 10.2-inch center console display that was in the same place. Acura also says that this runs on a faster processor, and it now has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Beneath that, here is our dual zone climate control system, and A-spec and higher trims get both ventilated and heated front seats for both front passengers, and you can do auto as well if you prefer. One other small new thing for 2024 is, you see this contrast stitching up here? They now also have it down here, as well as a bit on the door over there. Looking down, we do still have the push button printo right there, and the True Touch trackpad right there. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you do get used to it, I do think it's fine. Beneath that, we have a couple of cup holders and a wireless smartphone charger right there. Past that, we do have more storage in the lower center console, as well as USB Type-C, USB Type-A, and 12-volt power right there. Looking up, we do get a sunglasses holder right here and a manual privacy panel for the moonroof right there. All simple and straightforward. One other thing that is new for the 2024 Acura TLX is they put work into adding more sound insulation into the car. And this is for A-spec and higher trims. It now has thicker carpets, more foam and insulation, and side front door acoustic glass to help keep things quiet. Except, this being the top trim Acura Type S, it doesn't have all of that because Type S owners, Acura found, want some of that noise in. And if you listen to the engine, you can understand why. At least I can. Let's talk drive modes. You get several drive modes, which you adjust with this dynamic mode dial right here. They are Comfort, Normal, Sport, and when you shift it to Sport, you heard the engine idle change subtly. The engine idle goes from 680 to 800 RPM, and hold the dial down, you go to Sport Plus. That is also unique to the Type S. That also raises the idle even further to 1000 RPM. And for 2024, Acura played with the throttle map to make it even more aggressive with the Type S. TBD if that's good or not. And finally, if you press this button instead of turn the dial, you get individual mode, and that allows you to adjust all these things right here, including suspension. Yes, you do have an adjustable suspension in the TLX Type S. And if you're interested in an even more in-depth look at the interior and exterior of this car, I have another video that goes into more detail, and it should pop up right there, and I'll have a link in the description. Let's get back to the drive. All right, let's dig into the powertrain. First and foremost, I did already review the TLX Type S, the 2021 model year version. In that review, I went into a lot of detail about this turbocharged 3-liter V6. if you want to learn about the forged crankshaft and the 6-bolt mains, definitely go check out that review. I will have a link to that in the description, and it should pop up right there. For 2024, the powertrain is effectively unchanged. As I mentioned when we looked under the hood, it is still 355 horsepower, 354 pound-feet of torque, and a lot of cool stuff to look at when you're under the hood, like that twin-scroll turbocharger and the intercooler and everything else. And it still uses the same 10-speed automatic transmission that shifts very quickly and very well, and has the 4th generation super handling all-wheel drive system. This is a torque vectoring all-wheel drive system, and it works very, very well. And I should mention, this is not brake-based torque vectoring. These are clutch packs and things doing real work to overdrive the rear axle up to 3% almost in certain cases, and really change the behavior of this car thanks to the all-wheel drive system. It's really quite good. The TLX Tech Package and A-spec are also unchanged when it comes to the powertrain. That's still a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that makes 272 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. It also gets a 10-speed automatic transmission, but the Technology Package TLX is only front-wheel drive, and the A-spec is only the super handling all-wheel drive. What makes the TLX Type S stand out is, well, obviously an extra liter and a lot more horsepower. And we also have little things like rev matching downshifts, which is a little bit on the rare side for an automatic transmission, but does work well. If you downshift, it does this little rev matching moment, which is kind of nice. I did that in the sport driving mode, by the way. And the Type S is the only TLX that gets the Sport Plus driving mode. But that is one of the two things that made me a little nervous about this car. In the Sport Plus driving mode, Acura said that they made the throttle map more aggressive. So lighter touches of the throttle will give you even snappier responses. So I'll go ahead and put it in the Sport Plus driving mode. And in this mode, the throttle gets really, really touchy. I'm giving like little 10% blips, and you see me jerking back when I do that. That does not take much. Now, if I am slow and smooth with the throttle, man, even then I get a little bit of a kind of instant jerk. That is an awfully quick reacting throttle pedal. Acura changed that because customers said they wanted that. I can't really fault Acura for that, but for me personally, I really prefer a more linear pedal that really lets you apply power smoothly and get through corners at the limit without the car feeling like it's bouncing around a bunch. The purists are going to be a tiny bit bummed by that. But even if I put it down to the comfort driving mode, it's still pretty responsive as far as I'm concerned. I'm actually much happier with the throttle in the comfort driving mode, but it does become a lot softer. The shocks also soften way up, so you get a lot more relaxed floatiness kind of feeling in the car. But you can switch to the normal drive mode, and to me, that's already better in terms of the throttle still nice and linear relatively, and the car just feels a little bit more naturally Type S that way. And if you floor the throttle, you get good response, good kick down, and then strong acceleration. And the exhaust tune is really nicely done in this car. I'm really happy with the way that Acura tuned this exhaust. It sounds sporty and alive, but also balanced. It's a great, great sounding V6. And of course, if you go to the sport driving mode and floor the throttle again, that open valve exhaust gives you just even a little bit more throatiness, and the kickdown's about the same, but it's a nice punch once you get moving. And you have another option. You can put the transmission in the sport driving mode, so S instead of D. Now if I floor the throttle, yes, good fast response. This is a great, great transmission. I'm really happy with the response. Of course, you can just go full boogie, put it in the Sport Plus driving mode, leave the transmission in S, floor the accelerator, and yeah, Oh, you get all the sound, you get the fastest kickdowns, and you get a lot of pull. This is a muscular sports sedan, and I'm really happy with that. And listen to that. Listen to how eager it is to keep you in a low gear. This thing is alive in the Sport Plus driving mode, especially with the transmission in Sport. I absolutely love it, and it shows you the true nature of this car. As you can imagine, with all these kinds of tricks, fuel economy isn't the greatest. You get 19 miles to the gallon in the city, 25 miles to the gallon on the highway, 21 combined. And probably not as good as that if you keep it in the Sport Plus driving mode like I am. Not stellar numbers, but for the buyers of a car like this, I doubt fuel economy is your top priority. Anyway, fuel economy may be important, but it's not nearly as much fun as accelerating. Of course I had to test that. Let me show you right now. All right, everybody, time for an acceleration test. I do have the TLX Type S in Sport Plus driving mode, and I also turn the stability control off, though I'm not expecting any wheel spin with the all-wheel drive, but let's find out. Oh, I also have the transmission in Sport instead of D. Okay, coming to a complete stop. Bit of brake torque. All right, off brake. Oh, not bad. No, fast shifts. Nice. Oh, man. Strong. Oh, and such a good sound, too. What a great V6. Fast shifts from the 10-speed automatic transmission. Good, stout power. Strong acceleration from this 2024 Acura TLX Type S. Acura says the Type S will go 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds, and I have no doubt in that. That is robust, stout power, and as you saw, not a hint of wheel slip. The super handling all-wheel drive just dug in and we shot off really quickly. But all right, let's dig into the chassis. As I already showed you in the walk-around, we have some extra bracing in this TLX Type S to really stiffen up the structure and allow the suspension to work just so. We do have a double wishbone front suspension, a fantastic geometry up front, and a multi-link rear suspension, all very nice. And as I already mentioned, the Type S does get adjustable shock absorbers as well to really stiffen things up. I'm saying all that, but really, I should be showing you all that. Yes, I did a handling test. Let me show you that right now. All right, everybody, time for a handling test. I do once again have the car in the Sport Plus driving mode, and stability control is off. And sure, we'll put the transmission in S again, just for all the fun. All right, let's see how it feels. Love that sound. Strong pull, great sound. Yeah, oh, really good chassis balance. Nice neutral feel in a front wheel drive based car. That's phenomenal. And grip, it's not bad. I have to say, it's not bad. Yeah, we're holding the road pretty well. And yeah, the body's well controlled. We're getting good responses to my inputs. Yeah, steering is tight, steering is fast. Man, everything about this car feels alive and quick reacting, good responsive front end. Oh, it's really strong. Man, this throttle is fast though. Oh, that's the one thing. I wish I just had a little bit more of a linear throttle. Man, you can feel the torque vectoring happen, especially in those slow corners. Really does overdrive the rear axle to help you rotate the car. Everything about this car just belies its core specs. Nearly 60% of the weight up front, and yet we get this nice neutral chassis feel. I really enjoy it. But okay, so we have all that cool stuff to improve the structure and the handling of this car. What about the ride comfort and those types of things? Yeah, it's totally solid there. Now, that is not a strong suit of the TLX Type S. It does still lean a touch on the stiff side, even in the comfort driving mode and in the normal driving mode. For me, it's plenty compliant. In fact, I almost like it as a default in the sport driving mode in terms of that like responsiveness of the car, and the handling compromise with the ride is still totally fine. But for some that are looking for a little bit more pure comfort, they're gonna find it a touch stiffer than ideal, and it's also not the quietest sedan in the world when it comes to cabin isolation and things like that. And everything I just said is true on roads like this and on the interstate. I did test it there as well. Let me show you that. All right, everybody, time for a quick stint on the interstate. See how this updated TLX Type S feels. I do have it in the comfort driving mode, and of course I do have stability control back on. So let's see how it feels. Okay, cruise control is set at 78 miles an hour to go with traffic. At that speed, the engine is nice and quiet, and in the background, we do have a 10-speed automatic transmission after all. I do also have all of Acura Watch stuff on, including lane keep assist, so I will take my hands off the wheel. And yeah, it does an okay job to keep us centered in the lane. It's twitchier. You can see it moving a bit back and forth from the edges of the lane. It's not as accurate to stay in the center as some other cars, but it's still pretty solid. Also, we do have a nice display screen showing us what the car sees on the road. As you can see, the car can see 3 lanes worth of traffic with us in the center, and it's pretty interesting that one thing I noticed, you can't see it right now, but not only does it show you vehicles on either side of the lane or coming up ahead of you, it'll actually show you if it's a car or a semi-truck or whatever. The other thing I'm noticing is it'll actually show you where in the lane you are. More fundamentally, the ride is a touch on the stiff side, but plenty compliant for me. I still find it perfectly comfortable, but you do bounce over, expansion joints and that kind of thing just a little bit more than a pure luxury car. And road noise, it's not the best, but to me it's perfectly acceptable. But in terms of luxury sedans, no, this is not the quietest. You can hear more road noise and even a little bit of wind noise come through. So if you want a little bit more of that pure luxury experience, you might be better off in the A-spec TLX, but for sporty nature, for driving enthusiasts, this is perfectly fine. So what do I think of the updated 2024 TLX Type S? First of all, the styling updates are a win. I like the new grille. I love that there's not that shield around the logo anymore. I like having the front camera. I like all those details. Easy win. When it comes to the tech, another win. Wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, good things to have. Bigger screen, easy to see. Everything's great about that. Digital instrument cluster, I'm neutral on that. I like analog gauges, but this is a nice digital instrument cluster as well, so totally cool. And it's still a car. And I love that it's a car, because cars just on their own are starting to get rare. So the fact that Acura is still building a couple and building Type S versions of both of them is really, really good. And this is a great driver's car. But it gets a little weird because this is also my second favorite Acura car. The Integra Type S drives so phenomenally well. As much as I really enjoy this car, I would actually prefer the Integra Type S. That makes the TLX Type S the perfect car for folks that need something that at least appears a little bit more grown up than the Integra Type S, but still provides tons of driving fun. I'm Robin Warner. Thank you very much for watching. And if you like this video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up. Doing so helps me out a lot, and I'd really appreciate it. And I do reviews like this all the time, and also car news and car shows and walkarounds and engineering reviews. So if you have any interest in keeping up with the auto industry in general, please subscribe to my channel. That also helps me out a lot, and I'd also really appreciate that. If you're interested in a premium sedan that drives really well, another one that's worth checking out that I bet you wouldn't expect is the Cadillac CT5. It's seriously good. It's worth checking out. Or maybe you're interested in something else entirely. Well, like I said, I have reviewed a bunch of stuff by now. Something's gonna pop up next to me. Hopefully that's something you're interested in. And if you do end up watching it, I hope you like it. Okay, goodbye for now.